Hello, I'm Michael Diamond, and you're watching Muscle Central. Today, I'll be talking about creatine and how to maximize the results we get from using it. Creatine was first introduced to the market in the 90s by one Bill Phillips, marketed under the name of phosphagen. Contrary to what some might tell you, creatine is not a steroid. It's simply three amino acids bonded together. Now, most people using creatine get results. Problem is we're not maximizing our results. The protocol we're using, the procedures we're taking in using the creatine are not helping to maximize the results. First, let's go to the label. The label tells us to take 5 grams of creatine 5 times a day for 5 to 7 days. Mix it with cold water, juice, or beverage of your choice. Then after that, reduce it down to a maintenance dose of 5 grams a day. The problem with that protocol is taking it 5 times a day, 5 to 7 days, the first week, does indeed saturate the muscles. Now, once you reduce it to a maintenance dose, in about 2 weeks or so, your creatine levels are reduced to baseline. So you're not maximizing your results. Interestingly, Bill Phillips, the one who introduced creatine to the market, has actually suggested that you maintain 20 grams a day continuously when using creatine. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is what the fluids we mix it in. Like I said before, the label says mix 5 grams of creatine in a cold beverage of your choice, water, juice, or whatever you care to choose, and stir it up and drink it. Now, you'll notice when you put creatine in a cold beverage and you stir it up, a lot of it does not dissolve. It settles down to the bottom of the glass. Now, a lot of people complain that they get stomach distress and bloating when they take creatine, and I would imagine if that does occur, it would be due to the undissolved creatine sitting in the gut. Undissolved creatine that sits in the gut that doesn't get into the bloodstream is eventually going to get excreted out. So essentially, you're pissing your creatine away. Now, what's not told in the original protocol being used when testing the creatine, the test subjects were not mixing their creatine in a cold beverage. The creatine was put into hot tea and stirred up and then consumed. Now, you can do a little experiment. Take a glass of cold water and take a glass of hot water. Take some water from the faucet, put it in a glass and stick it in the microwave for a minute. Put 5 grams of creatine in the cold water, 5 grams of creatine in the hot water. Stir both up for about a minute, and you'll see the difference. About half the creatine in the cold water is not going to be dissolved. Will settle at the bottom of the glass. Bottom of the glass. But on the other hand, in a hot beverage, you'll see most of the creatine dissolves. Once again, undissolved creatine is not doing you any good. It sits in the gut and is eventually excreted out of the system wasted away. So you don't want to mix your creatine in a cold beverage. Mix it in a hot beverage. Tea, coffee, use tea or coffee. My beverage of choice is zero carb Powerade. I put it in a microwave for about a minute and mix my creatine in it. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is a way for you to save money using your creatine. There are a lot of creatine and carb concoctions on the market, and we're told that the research shows that taking creatine with fast carbs increases your insulin response, and in turn, drive the creatine into your muscles faster. Now, true fast carbs create an insulin response. True insulin will drive nutrients into your muscles. The problem is creatine does not get into your blood system immediately when you consume it. For insulin to work its magic, the nutrients or whatever it is you want to drive into the muscles has to be in the blood system first. If it's not in the blood system, it can't be driven into the muscles. Now, the problem when you take the two of them together, by the time the creatine reaches your blood system and is ready to be driven into your muscles, your insulin response has subsided. So by taking the two of them together, you're missing the boat. What you're not being told about is research that shows creatine and carbs increases the absorption of creatine into the muscles, is that the protocol being used is not what's being told you. It was not the same as what's being told for you to follow. The protocol in the test subjects, the creatine was being administered first, and then a half an hour later, the creatine will be in the system. The fast carbs are consumed, which creates an insulin response, which now will help drive the creatine that's in your blood system into your muscles. The products on the market are totally missing the boat, and you're paying a lot of money for something that's not doing what you're being told it's going to do. The good thing about all these creatine and carb concoctions that are on the market, it's brought down the price of plain creatine monohydrate. To conclude this video, if you want to maximize your creatine results, take your creatine a minimum of 4, maybe 5 times a day, and divided dosages, 5 grams at a time, continuously. Don't reduce it to a maintenance phase. Mix your creatine in a warm to hot beverage to dissolve more of the creatine, so you don't waste the creatine you're consuming. Last thing is, forget about these creatine concoctions. Just take your creatine on a regular basis. The truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter if the creatine gets into your muscles immediately, a half an hour later, an hour later, or 2 hours later. What's important is that the creatine gets into your muscles, period. If you take creatine and you take it regularly, on a regular basis, the creatine will eventually get into the muscles. You will get your desired results. You don't have to waste your money on all these fancy creatine products. Stick with plain creatine monohydrate. Try to follow the protocol that I suggested to you, and you'll see you'll maximize your results from your creatine usage. If you like this video, please click like, share, and by all means subscribe. This is Michael Diamond, Muscle Central, signing out.